The more I look at what's happening in this country, the more I want to go on a permanent vacation and retire. How about you? So, today we're going to dive into the hot topic of early retirement and whether or not you should start collecting Social Security at the ripe old age of 62. So grab your reading glasses, your hearing aids, and let's dive into it. And I already know what you're thinking. 62. Isn't that just a little too early to be calling it quits?
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if
I don't know. Do you really want to continue to work in that condition? I think not. So let's dive into the pros and cons of collecting that Social Security early. Okay, first up, collecting Social Security at the age of 62 is pretty tempting. I mean, you've been paying into the system for decades. And who doesn't like the idea of getting back some of what you put into that system, especially getting it just a little bit earlier? And the fact that the government's pissing it away, so you better get it while you can. You know, as you approach retirement, you'll find that your decision to retire and collect Social Security hinges on a variety of factors. It's just not about wanting to stop working. You'll have to start thinking about the many pieces of your financial plan, and Social Security, for most people, is a very large part of their financial plan. Let's go over some of the pros to collecting early. First up, immediate income. If you need money now, starting at 62 is going to provide you with some money that you can use for your everyday expenses, especially if you've been laid off or maybe you've got some health-related issues causing you to have some additional expenses. Or even worse, health-related issues that keep you from working. And speaking of health, if you have a family history of not making it to 100, or possibly you have a chronic health condition, collecting early might be a good bet. But keep in mind, health benefits don't kick in till the age of 65. So if you've got high medical expenses, you're going to have to continue to pay for medical insurance until you qualify for Medicare. Stress. Let's be real. Some jobs are harder than others and harder to hang on to for that very reason. If your job is physically demanding, taking early retirement could save your body from further abuse. And of course, taking early retirement may give you the opportunity to do something you enjoy more. Because in retirement, many people will take up a second career, at least part-time, maybe something you've always wanted to do. You know, maybe you wanted to become a freelance photographer. Early retirement may be just the ticket to get you started down that path. The possibilities are endless. Maybe you're questioning whether or not it will be there when you get ready to collect. I know I'm in that boat. There's a lot of people out there concerned that Social Security may not be able to meet its requirements in the future. So maybe they should just get it now while they can. Then there are others that believe that by collecting now, they could utilize the money more effectively, like investing it, rather than leaving it up to the government to do what they want with it. And we know how great they are at that.
no one's saying that, no poll says that.
Then there's the fact that the government is already saying that they're going to reduce benefits by 20% in 2034. That's right. So in the next 10 years, they plan on cutting benefits for all of those of us that have put in our hard-earned money And I can go down a complete rabbit hole with that one. But yeah, they're going to cut benefits by 20% in 2034. So let's just say you're getting $2,000 a month as a benefit. Well, they're going to take it down to $1,600. And that just sucks. So a lot of people are thinking, well, I'll just get it now while I can get the full benefit for the next 10 years. And when I say full benefit, I do mean the benefit you're entitled to at the age of 62, because that is not considered full retirement in the government's eyes. Yes, you'll have to wait till 67 to get the maximum. Okay, before we all just run down to the Social Security office and fill out that paperwork, let's talk about the cons first. So collecting at 62 does mean you will get 30% less than what you would collect if you waited to 66 and a half or 67, depending on the year that you were born. And that's a significant chunk of money to be tossing out the window for the rest of your life. If you take a look at this graph right here, you can see how much you will receive based upon the age that you retire. So at 62, you are getting a sizable ding. Now, if you're one of those people that are super, super duper healthy, I'm not in that class, and you think you're going to live to 100, you could delay collecting Social Security to 68, and then you would get 108% of your benefit. Yeah, 108. Now keep in mind, the government does have very concrete data on how long people will live, and they're betting against you. And it's just like Vegas, the odds are against you. The longer you wait, the more the government benefits. Another negative is when you start collecting at 62, that's your number. Apparently it's permanent, and your cost of living adjustment will be affected. The cost of living adjustment will be smaller for you. They give you a cost of living adjustment to keep up with inflation, but that adjustment is based upon your initial amount. And since that's smaller, so too will the cost of living adjustments be smaller. Earnings penalty. Yes, since you're not at full retirement age, there's a penalty for you if you earn money. Let's say you take a part-time job, or maybe you become self-employed to do something like that photography job I mentioned. There's a cap on how much money you can earn, and if you go over that, and for 2024 it was $22,320. If you go over that, they are going to reduce your Social Security benefit. You'll get a $1 deduction for every $2 you earn over that $22,000. Now keep in mind that that is the final number, so you do have a standard deduction. If you're self-employed, they are going off your net earnings, so I'm sure with a good accountant you can squeeze out larger earnings. As long as that last line on your tax returns is no more than $22,320, you will not get dinged for your benefit. Now, of course, I'm not a tax advisor. Always talk to your CPA. I'm sure he'll work with you on what those magic numbers need to be. Now, this is always a fun topic, life expectancy. And that is something you need to consider when you're talking about your Social Security. Now, the average person in the United States of America lives to the ripe old age of 77. And you heard me right. It went down. After COVID, we used to be like 79. Now it's 77. You can take a look at this graph right here. In 2019, the average life expectancy was 78.8 years, fell down to 76.4 years after COVID, and is now moving up, and it's landing at about 77.5 years. And here's some interesting facts for you. If you make it to the ripe old age of 65 years of age, there's a high probability that you will live 20 years longer. The decision to take Social Security at 62 is a pretty big one. You do need to consider how long you will live, and more importantly, how long you are going to be healthy. This is something I've been thinking about a great deal lately. I've read numerous articles in reference to the topic. You know, there's one thing about how long you're going to live in retirement, and there's the other topic of how long you're going to be healthy and mobile. Because if you get really sick and you're immobile and you're just sitting at home feeling bad, you're really not going to enjoy your retirement a great deal. So if you're not a healthy person, or if you don't have all of your faculties.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president because I think she was not qualified to be president.
Maybe taking early retirement is a good idea. And on the other hand, if you're the picture of health and everybody in your family is a centurion, well, you might consider waiting to take your Social Security. So let me talk about some top concerns, at least top concerns for me, and that is our government. Yes, this is the not so fun part of our conversation. We all know that our government is mismanaging a lot of things, and Social Security is one of them. And with the horrific, and I did say horrific, I meant to say that, policies in reference to our border, we are letting millions of people in, and yes, they will be collecting Social Security. You don't have to take my word for it. You can investigate it.
So a lot of people are very interested in finding out whether or not immigrants can go ahead and receive Social Security benefits. And the bottom line is that there's different levels that immigrants can tap into, and there's different levels of naturalization that allows them to tap into different things. And yes, sometimes they have to pay taxes, and no, sometimes they don't.
So we give them money every month, and we give them, in many states, most states, not all states, Medicaid as well.
They are giving these people Social Security cards so that they can do some other things besides collect Social Security at the voting booth. Now, I was already concerned with the fact that they were mismanaging the account to begin with. By the way, that is your money. That is my money. That is money we put in. It's our money. And yet they are mismanaging those funds. And I was already upset with the fact that they were going to reduce my benefits by 20% in the next 10 years. Well, I don't think that is going to be an accurate number. It could be 40 or 50% in the next 10 years with all of these people coming in, siphoning off your money and off my money. Now, of course, if you're a millionaire, this isn't a concern for you. But if you're like the rest of us, it should be a huge concern for you. So how do you feel? Have you thought about collecting Social Security as soon as you were able? I've got a couple more years, but I'm highly considering it because I just don't know how long it's going to be around. Let's see what happens in November. Could use some policy changes. No one should be collecting Social Security who didn't put into the system. Period. And frankly, whether they call it Social Security benefits for non-citizens, illegals, they're getting benefits that are coming from my tax dollars and your tax dollars. Deciding to collect Social Security is a personal choice, and there are lots of things to ponder in making that choice, from your personal financial situation, life expectancy, and the future of Social Security itself. Now, it's always a good idea to talk to a financial advisor about these things, A financial advisor is going to give you some very frank advice about your ability to pay your bills and how long your money is going to last. And I'd highly recommend you do that before making any decision to collect Social Security early. And speaking of being ready to retire, most Americans aren't. And I did some research on this and even created a video on it, which I'll pop at the end. But many Americans are not prepared to retire and just haven't saved enough. It's never too early to start, but it is something you need to look at carefully. If you want to learn more about that topic and how you might compare to the rest of the nation, again, I'll stick that video at the end. Now you can do me a favor, you can hit that like button. It does help me share this content with people that are interested in this topic. And of course, while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, because I would love to see you here with me again soon. And as always, I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. It's greatly appreciated. Now remember, stay informed, stay safe, stay free. See you next time. Take care.
I know sometimes life can be tough, and you feel like you just had enough.